Hola chicos, hoy vamos a continuar con el presente progresivo. This is the present progressive tense. And we use this tense to talk about what is happening right now. Some examples: we are listening to Encanto songs. The we are listening is an example of the present progressive. Are you all paying attention? Are you all paying would be an example of the present progressive. I am getting ready for school. For all of these examples, we're going to use a form of the verb estar and another verb ending in the ing form. So here are forms of the verb estar. Estar, remember, means to be. It's a more temporary verb, and we'll have some more discussion of what that looks like and what else can be used with estar coming up next week. Yo estoy, tú estás, ¿cómo estás? Estoy bien, gracias. ¿Cómo está ella? Ella está bien. ¿Cómo estamos? Estamos bien. In Spain, ¿cómo estáis? Ellos y ustedes están. So we're going to combine a form of the verb estar plus an ing form. For AR verbs, we're going to chop off the AR and add ando. For example, jugar, which tells us to play, we chop off the AR and add ando to get playing. Estudiar tells us to study, we chop off the AR and add on ando, we get estudiando, which tells us studying. For ER and IR verbs, you're going to chop off the ER or IR and add iendo. For comer, which tells us to eat, we chop off the ER and add iendo, and we get comiendo. Correr, chop off the ER, corriendo, running. Escribir and vivir both end in IR, we chop off the IR, add iendo, and we get escribiendo, viviendo, writing, living. So when we put it all together in a sentence, the nice thing is that it kind of matches the form and the order of English. I am studying my Spanish notes. Yo is my subject. My form of estar is estoy. My ing form for estudiar, we chop off the AR and add on ando. Estudiando. Yo estoy estudiando mis apuntes de español. This is what I'm doing right now. My friends and I are texting. My subject would be mis amigos y yo. We're going to use the form of estar, estamos. We're going to take textear. We're going to chop off the AR and add on ando, texteando. Mis amigos y yo estamos texteando. My family is eating lentils for dinner. Mi familia está. We're going to take cenar to have dinner, cenando lentejas. You all, the form in Spain, are eating too much. Vosotros estáis comiendo demasiado. Comiendo comes from comer. This is my ER verb, so instead of using ando, use iendo. Ricardo y su novia están compartiendo las palomitas. They're sharing popcorn. Compartir is an IR verb. ER and IR, we use iendo. What are you doing? ¿Qué estás haciendo? Remember, with questions, we kind of switch up the order. My subject is going to go after my verb. Don't separate the form of estar and the ing form. Don't separate those two. Those are always going to go together. You need to keep in mind a few irregulars, whether it's irregular spelling or with my boot verbs. There's going to be a change in the stem part. For the verbs that have double vowels, the EE or the AE, for those, we're going to find that when we chop off the ER, it looks kind of ugly. It's like there are too many vowels altogether. So leyendo, we're not going to have the EIE. We're going to chop off that I and switch it with the Y. Creer, same thing. Remove the I and switch it with a Y. Traer, same thing. Remove the I, switch it with a Y. And then the verb ir, which you can kind of not see because there's a little box down here. Ir, yendo, we switch the I with the Y directly. Now my boot verbs. Remember, my boot verbs are the ones that have the changes in the stem that are inside the boot. There are certain boot verbs, the ones specifically that end in IR, that whenever you put them into the ing form, they also have some sort of change that takes place in the stem part of the verb. So you wouldn't say dormiendo, you're going to say durmiendo. Pedir pidiendo, vestir vistiendo, seguir siguiendo. These are specifically the ones that are boot verbs that end in IR. So some examples, you use them the exact same way. Yo estoy leyendo un libro llamado El Hobbit. Los niños están durmiendo la siesta. Same exact order, just a slightly different spelling in the ing form. And that's it. These are some examples of how the present progressive works. These are used for actions that are happening right now. Sometimes when you look at a photo, you can talk about what people are doing in the photo right now. Two parts. There are two parts to the expression. You're going to have some form of the verb estar. Estoy, estás, está. Estamos, estáis, están. And you're going to use the next part of the verb ending in ando or iendo. There are a few irregulars, your Y spellings, and your boot verbs that end in IR. And that's it. Buena suerte, chicos. Go and do your best on your next practice activity.